Hey guys, this is me, Robert, and I'm going to read some reviews of Utah State Hospital, the ones that I've kind of thought was important, so I can just like give you more of a third way through it. So I already have my own review, which is right here, Robert Deus here, and I'm not gonna read that whole review, but you can go on Utah State Hospital reviews and read it yourself. But I just kind of just made like how I felt about it, so I kind of didn't really want to just like make it just sort of like I was just like simplifying things or making stuff up. But I'm just gonna start with one that I'm kind of just like not cool with. So I'm gonna start off with this dude here, Agony of Agonies, and this his review kind of just like honestly pissed me off because he said this part that was like, he's trying to just like downplay it as like we're just over exaggerating it. Like um if we're exaggerating it, we wouldn't be in Utah State Hospital anyway. And um I think there's like personally not everybody exaggerated it. It's just more of a, you know, so like I didn't exaggerate it. All right, my there was nothing about my 1 star review that exaggerated it, but yeah, I kind of didn't made it accurate because I'm not really. I don't know how to get myself taken seriously by people who need to know that Utah State Hospital is dangerous, and let alone being a patient there is one of the hardest things you can go through because the treatment plan is hard to follow and the rules are hard to follow as a teenager in the adolescent unit in Utah State Hospital. But I'm going to read his dumb review. And some of it is like, okay, if someone is not being accurate with their review, then they need to like re-edit it again and start being accurate. I get what he means. Like, then nobody shouldn't be exaggerating. But I kind of think he's just like trying to shut us down and try to just like make us look like we're just like being crazy and exaggerating it. So he said, when compared to other behavioral health facilities, this place can actually help. It does help, but not completely because, like, yeah, Utah State Hospital is hard still. Even if some of it does help, like, it does get you friends, it does get you, like, a more stable environment to get treatment. If otherwise you would be in jail or juvenile, I get what it might mean, but like being a patient at Utah State Hospital is still hard. That's a blunt and firm answer that I still have, despite all of this that he said. Rather than simply being expensive cells like the others. What do you mean by cells? Like, you think that like I don't like your wording for it. No, that's just messed up. Um, the low ratings from others is because they had a bad experience, but I promise that they are exaggerating. Well, we did had a bad experience, and we're not exaggerating, dude. We really had a bad experience, and like we didn't exaggerate. No, like we have a right to feel on what we want to feel, and you need to be respectful to our reviews. But I think we should edit our review if we kind of just like kind of didn't made it accurate. I get what that means, but we had a bad experience, and we're not exaggerating it, fool. If you obey the rules of the unit, you will have a far better chance of experiencing some healing. And what do you mean by healing? Like, it's not complete healing. And Utah State also was just like extremely unstable. You need to explain what healing means. You need to be accurate too, and stop simplifying it. So I'm gonna read again. Edit. I will repeat if you follow the rules of the unit, and they are strict and do take away some freedoms, but are fair. It's not completely fair, but it is kind of fair if it does keep people safe. Like, for example, if people are fighting in there, they kind of did a good job at breaking that up. But I just think it's still hard. So that's why I kind of thought it was unfair. And are for the safety of everyone. You'll have a far better chance of experiencing healing and not being so miserable at Utah State Hospital. Well, okay. You'll notice that the many of the one-star reviews talk about how they broke the rules and that they were miserable. It's directly related. Um, well, it's just like the problem with the rules is just like not really like clear, and it's just like too hard to follow as a teenager. And like I get rules, you got to follow rules everywhere you are in a civilization, but like it's just hard to do it, and it's just sometimes the staff is just like bullying me. Not all of them are bullies, some of them were great. And there's like sometimes, you know, like don't make this hard for us to complain about Utah State Hospital. There are some patients that like it, and for me, I kind of did like it as far as the friends that I made, and as far as like, it taught me to be like a better protester because I'm protesting Utah State Hospital. That um, it's like one of the hardest mental facilities that I went through, and it's still hard to be a patient there, and you can't overlook that. And these were common role violations, I guess, but he did mention like don't threaten people, don't be sexually inappropriate, don't harass others, don't yell unless if you're in a room alone, and don't refuse help and things go better. I wasn't even refusing help. I mean, I wanted to get like the help that I chose to, but one thing that I get pissed off about the help that's being shoved down my throat is like I did not get like a really good say over my treatment plan. I'm not just like trying to dictate it. It's just like how they could help me better is like the bullying problem. They did not do a good job at telling the bullies to stop and forcing them to stop. So you can call people names in Utah State also, and that's not against the rules. And those people, the staff, they were just like standing there and just like rolling their eyes, like whatever. I really hate my job. So like, you can call people names in Utah State Hospital and bully them verbally, and you don't even get in trouble for that. So like sometimes the rules are just like there's not enough rules regarding that, and that pissed me off about Utah State Hospital. So yeah, screw you, Agony of Agonies, because you're just like trying to shut down people or trying to spread this like propaganda that all of us are just like exaggerating it. No, add exaggeration out of it, and also add expensive sales out of it. Now, I gotta like go to this one review that this girl actually felt like me exactly. So Shaden Monroe or something. She reviewed, and this is a really long one at that too. This one is I'm gonna read it. My name is Shaden Nordruft. Nordorf? Well, Nordruft. I don't know that name, but like was I was there from July 2021, March 2022. My original review I made is simply not accurate, so I decided to refresh it. During my stay, I did learn coping skills. I did learn things, don't get me wrong, but I learned them in fear. My goal wasn't to get better for myself. My goal was to seem better so I could go back home. I was hard to deal with. I will admit that. But in a place where you're supposed to change and get help there shouldn't be scare tactics. I've been in a handful of institutions, and this place was by far the worst. I wouldn't say like necessarily the worst. Like it could have been worse with Utah Developmental Center, but I think yeah, Utah State Hospital is one of the worst ones because it's too controlling. But I do agree that yeah, Utah State Hospital is really really hard Like the quality of life there for patients sucks. Yeah, I saw a comment saying if you just follow the rules, you'll be fine. That was from Agonies of Agonies being a idiot. Yeah, I get that. And everyone is reaching, which is not true. They had this thing called chains. Well, back in the day when I was there, they called it like soda, like a soda sheet, and I forgot what soda stood for. And it sounded really weird because it sounded like soda, like a pop of soda. So I think it's right they call it chains because, like, yeah, um, like naming it soda sheet was kind of annoying, even though I shouldn't be complaining about that. That's just a little thing to complain about. But yeah, if you got in trouble, you'll fill it out, basically stating why and what you did and how you're gonna do better moving forward. I had gotten one for burping. Yes, burping. Well, you didn't used to get in trouble for burping, and I'm not sure if that's true. Like when people burped and even farted in Utah State Hospital, like the staff didn't like just like get anybody in trouble. No, like they just like basically like told the patient that did that, it's like at most like, hey, that's not good manners, man. But I think they kind of do that now. They're just getting stricter with some certain things since I've been out of there since 2015. But that's pretty sad, like to get in trouble over burping. That we didn't used to get in trouble for burping and farting in there. It sounds stupid, but these chains included level drops. These level drops took rights away, like going outside more. If you were a level one, you were only allowed in a small gated area, like prisoners. Really? Yeah, I think I kind of remember that. It was just like a gated area with just like this yard to play in and a small basketball court to play in. Yeah, that was the boringest place to play in, dude. I like prisoner. I'm no. What? Wait, I need to, you know, read it there. If you were level two, you were allowed on campus only. Above two, you could go off campus and go home for, uh, you know, a weekend. Go home for a weekend visit. I'm having trouble reading because I've like stigmatism. Don't mind me. But the problem is, most of the staff would get you in trouble for the most silly things. I only saw the outside like four times. The gated area, like a couple weeks, they keep you in your rooms for a good amount of the day. It's not healthy, especially for the kids who didn't have parents bringing them things to keep occupied. When kids were freaking out and saying they were gonna hit someone, the staff would sometimes challenge the kids, saying do it. The staff didn't used to do that. I'm not sure if they were better trained back then, but I mean, if a staff like did challenge them and say do it, they would have been just like fired because you don't have to just like provoke someone to hit them or something. That's not what happened to anybody when I was in the adolescent unit, but yeah, that was not a good psych tech. They should have de-escalated it or not really basically challenge the kids in anger outbursts and say do it. That's kind of not good. Knowing that was going to happen, if you freaked out on any level, even through something, you end up in a restraint chair. Well, that never really happened to me or anybody else that got angry in the adolescent unit. When we got angry, it was only as a last resort. Holds every part of your body in at any level, even through something, you end up in a restraint chair. Holds every part of your body in place, and that's where you will sit for 2 hours while someone writes down your every move. If you move too much, the 2 hours start over. I'm not sure where she got this, but like there was never something like that in Utah State Hospital, unless if they kind of changed it to be more harsh. Then I feel sorry for her or anybody that has to go through that. Yeah, like if you have to use the bathroom, oh well. Then after two hours, you're put on AR. There was only one patient that was in AR, like Ryan, this one dude named Ryan. He was the only one that had area restriction for some reason, and it's none of my business on how he was the only one that had area restriction. Yeah, like whenever this the psych tech like Diana or Alex was putting Ryan in AR, like they were just like laughing at him and making fun of him sometimes, like giving him crap about it. Even though like sometimes Ryan does get annoying or something and does like he does like get on other people's nerves or whatever, but I think the psych tech should have like really known better to not like laugh at Ryan and area restriction and should have not like gave him drama about it when he's like confined to his room for like hours at that, or even for the whole entire like afternoon and night. So that's what was area restriction about, and that was kind of just like horrible. Nah, I don't think anybody should have really gone through that. But if it really came down to if a certain patient may have been misbehaving too badly and they were just like um running around like idiots or something like that, that was probably what was area restriction for. But yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not qualified to know to explain about what area restriction really is, but yeah, like I've seen people on it for months. You sit in a corner doing nothing. Sometimes you get a book to read. You're not allowed to leave. You can only talk to staff once an hour, and you can't talk to any fellow patients. If you do, you both get a level drop. AR is an instant level drop, so only really punishing the other person. You're forced to be watched while you use the bathroom, shower, eat, sleep. Same goes for for you when you first get there. They called it like DOS when we first got there. When I first got there, or anybody else first got there, there was a thing named DOS. I'm not sure if they named it something else now, but yeah, that was the same thing. Like we just got watched like 24/7 like a hawk by psych techs, and I thought that was the creepiest, weirdest thing ever. Like trying to deal with Utah State Hospital as like that in the first months or something. In the first month was like being born again, like homesickness, and you don't know what the hell happened and stuff. And that was kind of just like hard, and it could make anybody just feel like that's a living hell. It's called a one-on-one. Okay, they renamed it a one-on-one. So anyone who is on this can't talk to people who are also on one-on-ones. Again, you're being watched doing uh, everything. I couldn't even go into Walmart for months after I got released because I was so sheltered. I had panic attacks when I left my house. This place is not, it will not help your child. Well, sometimes it does help if it's like the only thing for them. I mean, but in her case, the way that she reviewed it this way, I'm sorry that she felt that way about Utah State Hospital. And yeah, actually, Utah State Hospital is not really good for everybody, but for me, like, I think that Utah State also had the ability to have a better treatment plan and a better de-escalation plan for my anger outbursts and stuff, and for my management plans, instead of just like leaving me out there to suffer. I mean, sometimes they didn't really work hard at managing my treatment plan. My treatment plan was primarily like anger management and stuff. And what they will do for me is when I turn 18, then I go to North Hudhome, to the group home, and go back to Davis Behavioral Health in Clearfield in the end of the treatment plan. That's why I got discharged. But I think that Utah State also looking at it, it's like a waste of my time, and it stole like 1 year and 1 month of my life, and I kind of find that unforgivable about, Utah State Hostel, And the other extra 3 last months was like waiting until I turned 18 and then go to North Home. I was about to be discharged on August, but then they said like, okay, you're gonna like go to a different group home and go to North Home. But I'll continue reading this. It will only make them scared. Yeah, I was just more of a like, sort of like I just want to go home already. I'm homesick and I just don't want to deal with this. I just want to see my family, I want to see my friends. That's the thing that pissed me off about being institutionalized in Utah State also like for that whole entire time. I just want to have a life already. I want my freedom. I want to see my friends. I want to see my family. That was the hardest feeling that I went through. So yeah, I get why some people may be scared about that. I have to pay money to go to regular therapy because my old behaviors have been coming back. The reason people send their kids to Utah to get treatment is because they allow hand on hand. Meaning staff can pretty much do whatever they want. I mean, a patient there was had stayed for months and no one noticed. It was on the news. Look it up. This review is for the girls who were on AR for months, for the girls who didn't see the sun for months, for the girls who had to sit there while grown women watched them shower. All they believe is power plays, and this place is like a maximum security mixed with maximum security prison mixed with max. It's such a weird middle ground. Send your child to a residential facility. Not this prison that literally relies on tax money for payments. For the therapists I had, you were great. To some of the staff, you were great. To all the staff that was there most likely playing power fantasy, like fantasy football, screw you. Yeah, exactly. That's really smart of her to point that out. Yeah. Um they don't play. I mean, the girls are not playing. The girls are smarter than the boys. Like, she probably reviewed this better than I did, and I'm like 29 this year. Yeah, like, last thing, if you send your kids here, be prepared for them to hate you for life. I'm so serious. I'm almost 20. I was 15 then. That place still scares me. Yeah, like, and I still have nightmares about Utah State Hostel because, like, sometimes I have a dream where I wake up being in there again. And yeah, that's the thing that sucks about being a mental patient there, and it's really hard. But if you want me to like read a more positive review, it's like from one of my old buddies, like one of my best friends, Liam. This is his profile, Liam Seekins. Alright, so Liam, if you're watching this, like, what's up, Liam Seekins? Like, this is your bro Robert, but like, yeah, the comment section to this video will be closed because my new terms on being a YouTuber again is like I will close down the comment section because the comment section is useless because there's bots, there's trolls, or sometimes it's just not a productive place that talking to people are discussing. And I also got cyberbullied in one of my videos, but I'm gonna read his reviews because I know Liam Seekins as a person and he's one of my buddies in there, so um he loves this place. So I was a patient here for over a year when I was 15 to 16. It was hard at first, and I wasn't accepting of a lot of methods of treatment at first. My first half of my stay was hard, and I got worse mentally by my own volition. And that was the first time I knew about what volition means. Like, he has a good vocabulary. It's Liam like of him. And misjudgments induced by my mental illness. I eventually learned mindfulness here in a class, and it is what completely changed my life around. You know, I ended up loving it here, mostly my last half, and have very fond and great memories. And I will always appreciate what the staff, doctors, school teachers, and therapists did for me. Yeah, and Liam Seekins was my best friend because I went on DOS with him, and we were sleeping in the same room on like two mattresses on the floor. Like we were on DOS like brothers. All right, like I respect him, even though he had like a really 5-star review about it. He can do that if he wants. Just like I can have a 1-star review about Utah State also giving me PTSD and more trauma if I want. But um, overall, like the Google reviews just calculated that Utah State also is like three stars, which I kind of feel like it's a vibe of Utah State also. Like there's like a mixed opinion. Like there are patients who love it. There are patients like me that kind of just like, I do love the friends here. I do like Doug Stone, my therapist. I do like Dr. Steed, my psychologist. I do like a lot of people. The friends, the social life I had here was really great. I like the canteen. I mean, the museum in Utah State also was interesting, but I just did not like the bullying. I did not like Scott calling me a monster and just telling me I'm going to be in prison just because I get angry a lot here. I mean, in Utah State also, I don't like judgmental psych techs. I don't like bullying from other patients in psych techs. A lot of that and a lot of drama just kind of just made me traumatized about it. And the extreme control made me traumatized. And I think like me just like wanting to see my family and my friends already, and Utah State also not giving me that besides a few home visits. I hate that about Utah State also still. So that's why I just still gave them 1 star. It's not because I want to be bad and just be a punk who doesn't follow rules. It's just like because of like how I feel about it. I'm still traumatized about Utah State also, even since 11 or more years about it and for the rest of my life. And I think I can even be in the afterlife in the heaven, and I'm still traumatized about Utah State Hospital because that's just how PTSD and trauma works sometimes with me. You know, I felt worthless being a mental patient there, and seeing on how happy people who are not mental patients in Utah State Hospital are. Like my homies back in Clearfield were getting girlfriends. They were just like having the best time of their life in high school. They were kissing girls, man. While I was like totally like with the boys, you'd feeling all gay in there. Like I just didn't like Utah State Hospital for those certain things and for those small specific reasons, you know. But at the same time, yeah, the friends, the staff, the canteen, the interesting things about it, and Mark, my special ed teacher, being a really well trained one for me, and the iPads in Mountain Springs School, which is a specialized school in Utah State Hospital. I kind of liked it, but at the same time, I didn't really like the horrible incidents there and stuff. And you can look up on my channel and go on to my channel anytime and subscribe to me and look up on my future reviews or my current or my older reviews of Utah State Hostel. That yeah, like I do kind of get why they got to be strict, but at the same time, they just need to have a heart about it, dude. They need to put more empathy in the plan and give patients, all patients, and not just Utah State Hospital, but similar other psychiatric facilities, like more say in their treatment plan, just as long as correct. And thank you for watching my video about me reading the Google reviews that I kind of find are important. And feel free to subscribe to my channel if you like it. If you like this video, and give me a like. And yeah, I'm not, I shouldn't be like the only one reviewing this, but if you had a similar bad experience with a psychiatric ward, then it's time for you to get brave and review it yourself too in the videos that you should make on your channel. And thank you for watching my video.